You're listening to the Life Coaching Secrets Podcast, episode 136. Did you know that life coaches are needed now more than ever? I'm Frank Macri, founder of Thriving Coach Academy. I've trained over 1,000 coaches and helped them launch their own successful coaching businesses. If you want to make an incredible income and impact as a coach and have a lot of fun doing it, I'll show you exactly how to get it done. This is Life Coaching Secrets. What's up, coaches? In this episode, I'm going to talk about the path from zero to your first $1 million as a coach. This idea suddenly came to me today, and I'm really looking forward to breaking this down for you. So what I've done is I've divided up your path from zero to $1 million into 5 categories. And the first category will be $0 to $1. The second will be $1 to your first 10K. The third category is 10K to 100K. Fourth category is 100K to 500K. And then the final category is 500K to your first 1 million. And I divided it up in this way because there are very different things that you will be focusing on at each level. And one of the challenges I've noticed some coaches face is when they are just starting out, they look at coaches that are several chapters ahead of them and they compare where they are now to where those other coaches are, or they start to copy and model what those coaches that are farther ahead are doing, and it's not going to work out because you're not yet at that level. You don't want to compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 10. It's important for you to know that everyone starts somewhere. And as long as you know what to focus on, you will eliminate so much overwhelm. You will get rid of this idea like you have to be doing these insane launches and all this wild marketing strategies that you might see other coaches do. And you could start with what is going to get you to the next level. So I have been so grateful to have been in the coaching industry for about a decade now, and I've made well over $1 million as a coach. And I've been able to notice in that entire journey how the things that I devote my attention to are very different. One of the interesting things I've realized is that you will have challenges and problems at every phase of your business. Now, those of you listening might hear this and not be so excited to know that there's always going to be a challenge no matter what level you're at. But the difference is that when you evolve to a different phase of entrepreneurship, you mature and you grow as an individual. You mature and you grow as a leader. And as a result of that growth, you are so ready to handle every challenge as it approaches you. So right now, you might see a coach out there that's making multiple 6 figures or 7 figures a year, and you might be judging yourself based on the version that you're at right now and think, well, there's no way that I can do that. There's no way I can show up as a leader in that way. There's no way that I could run a business at such a large scale. And I want to promise you and assure you that you absolutely can. Consider the growth that you're going to experience in the journey, right? Consider the person that you're going to become. You don't want to limit yourself based off of who you are now and who you've been, because then it will sabotage you from becoming who you are meant to be. So I want to go now we'll start with this journey from $0 to $1 and we'll go from there. Now, $0 to $1 might sound absolutely ridiculous when you hear it. You're like, what? Making $1? Why is that even considered its own stage? Let me tell you. Now, while $0 to $1 is the smallest gap financially, it is actually the largest gap mentally. I'll say that one more time. $0 to $1, meaning the first dollar you make as a coach, okay? Going from not making any money as a coach to making $1 as a coach, it is the smallest gap financially, but it is the largest gap mentally that you will experience in this journey, okay? So you will be growing at all these different phases as a person. However, I found that the 0 to 1 gap is the largest. And the reason why it is the largest is because it requires that you believe in something before you have evidence of it. You must believe that it is possible for you to make money as a coach before you've made money as a coach. So one of the concepts that I love teaching about in the academy is the concept of thoughts before evidence. Many people rely only on things they have evidence of in their life in order to believe it. Okay, so people think, well, I have evidence of this, so therefore it must be true. And in many ways, this can work for us, right? This can reinforce wonderful things. For example, maybe you achieved some kind of, maybe you had some kind of fitness goal that you achieved, or you've reached some kind of career milestone, or you had a really great experience raising a child who became an adult. So you have evidence of good things. So therefore you reinforce for yourself, I am a powerful leader because I have evidence of climbing the corporate ladder successfully. Or I am a good parent because I have evidence of my own children who are now off in the world doing great things. Or I know that I am strong and an amazing athlete because I have evidence in the past of winning at fitness competitions. So in many ways, our evidence is great and something that we want to lean on to further enforce parts of our identity that will help us move forward. In other cases, though, we start out without the evidence. So what you don't want to trap yourself into thinking is that you can't do something because you don't have evidence of it. This will only keep you stuck. It will only keep you exactly where you are right now. But what if you were open to the belief that you have so much value to offer to the world? What if you believe that people want to hire coaches and they really want to hire you specifically? What if you believe that you can make lots and lots of money as a coach? What if you believe that you can transform so many people's lives as a coach? Notice how part of your brain, when you hear that, you might resist it, reject it, push back, or question it altogether. You want to ask yourself why. What is preventing you from being open to the possibility? Okay, remember, you don't want to let just your evidence define you. In many ways, it is so important for you to have belief before you have evidence. So how might it be true, even when you don't have evidence, how might it be true that you can make a lot of money as a coach, given the type of person that you are, given how you're able to create results in your life, given the amazing opportunities that can unfold in your future? How might it be true that you have so much value to offer the world as a coach? I want you to reflect on these questions right now. How might it already be true that people want your coaching, even though you don't have evidence yet of people asking to hire you? Okay, so you're allowed to believe things even when you don't have evidence of them. In fact, it is essential that you do so in order to create results, right? If you decide ahead of time, I'm a bad coach, no one's going to want to pay me to coach them, I don't have much value, you feel very discouraged, you feel doubtful, you feel anxious, and that prevents you from getting support, from taking action, and from aligning yourself with the opportunities that are already in front of you that will allow you to actually make money and start creating an impact as a coach. But when you start with the belief that you can make money as a coach, you offer value, people want to hire you, when you start with that belief and you remain open to it, that's exactly how you feel. You feel open, you feel excited, you feel curious. And when you feel that way, you start to align yourself with the mentorship, the community, the resources, the opportunities that are already right in front of you, One of the quotes that I love most is that, I'm going to totally mess up the quote, but it's the idea when you are really aligned with something, with a vision, the universe will provide you with all of the support, opportunities, etc., that you need to manifest that vision, to create it. Okay? So, of course, this is not just about sitting around and thinking positive things. It's about taking action as well. And when you have the thoughts and you really believe them and you take the action that goes along with that, you'll start to see yourself earning your first dollar as a coach. So in summary, here's what's important for you to focus on in the first dollar, going from 0 to 1. You must have the belief in your ability to make money as a coach before you have the evidence. Okay, you must have those thoughts. The second thing you want to focus on is mentorship. Mentorship is essential at all levels of entrepreneurship. I believe that it's just holding yourself back and slowing your progress when you don't have a mentor who's at least a few steps ahead of you. But it doesn't stop there, just having a mentor, because you also want to have community. So in addition to having a mentor who's able to show you the ropes, who's at least a few steps ahead of you, it's also really useful to have a community of others who are sharing in a similar vision or similar goal, and you can relate to them. They can normalize your challenges and they can celebrate your wins. Okay? A lot of times the people in your day-to-day life, they might not share the same exact goals, dreams, and visions that you share. So it's really important to be around or at least have access to a community of others who can support you, who can fan the flames to your vision, and who could be there to hold you whenever you feel discouraged. So basically they're there for you when you have the ups and the downs. So having community is key when you are getting started. And then finally, frameworks. You want to have actual proven frameworks that other people before you have been able to follow and begin learning those frameworks. Okay, so there's a lot of education that you want to receive in the phase from going from 0 to 1. Okay, so you want the mentorship, you want the community, you want the frameworks. I call this the success triangle. When you have those three things, then you will inevitably see your business launch. You will make your first dollar. Now, a lot of people just think that what they need is information. So they go out and they Google things or they, find information online. And the reality is information, while it's really important, it's not enough, right? If information alone were what we needed to be successful, then everyone would be in perfect shape. They'd be in amazing relationships. They'd make all the money they want to make. They'd have all their goals achieved because we have no limit to information in this day and age. Thankfully, we have access to information faster than ever before. What we have a lack of is community and mentorship. And that's what's going to allow you to stand out and start achieving those initial results. So you want to have the mentorship, you want the community, you want the frameworks. That's why in Thriving Coach Academy, we provide all three. We give you the mentorships. You can learn from coaches and instructors who have already been there and achieved the success. You have access to the community of coaches like you, and you can lean on them. And you'll also have the proven frameworks on how to coach and how to grow your business. And then this is going to sound so simple, but it amazes me how, especially when we get started supporting our coaches and going from 0 to 1, you want to have a way for people to pay you. So just the process of, for example, making a Stripe account or something like that, where you will be able to receive money from someone, that alone gives a signal to yourself okay, I am available to actually receive clients. Okay, it is amazing. The feeling that you have when you just simply create a way for people to pay you aside from cash or check. Okay, you want to have some way online that people can actually complete an invoice or provide you with a payment. And then the very final thing you'll do from 0 to 1 is you're going to start making offers. You're going to start inviting people to hire you as their coach. Now, do not worry about anything here. Don't worry about an elevator pitch. Don't worry about crafting some kind of incredible offer for them. You just want to keep it so simple for yourself and simply ask people if you can coach them. And you will find that eventually you will find people that will be open to coaching, and you might coach the first few people pro bono. That's totally normal. But then there will get to a point where you will receive your first dollar as a coach. I've sometimes told coaches, if you are so scared about charging as a coach, you start out pro bono and then see what it feels like to charge $1. If you need to start there, then start there. Don't compare yourself to what other coaches are doing. If you see coaches out there charging $5K, $10K, $15K, don't force yourself to be charging that if it's not yet aligned for you. That doesn't mean you won't get there one day. When I got started, I did a lot of pro bono coaching, and then I began to charge a very low amount for my coaching. Okay, so for you, even if it means, you know what, I'm going to charge $1 for this session, you receive that dollar and you've just opened up a whole new realm of possibility, because now you can say that you have been paid to coach. You can say that people see value in your coaching. For most of you, you will probably earn more than $1 in the first exchange or first transaction that a client makes. And that's where we go into stage 2, which is going from $1 to your first 10K. So here's what you want to focus on here. Your first dollar to your first 10K that you make as a coach, you want to focus on what I call planting the garden, okay? So planting the seeds, growing the garden. What this means is that you trust that all the actions you take, they are going to pay off, okay? A lot of coaches, they have that initial success, but then they experience their first rejection, or they put something out there, it doesn't get the response they want, and they get very discouraged and want to give up. You must have this mentality like you are planting seeds, you are growing a garden. As long as you continue to be consistent, continue to take action in the form of starting conversations with people, building relationships with people, putting value out into the world. As long as you keep doing that, every action you take matters. You are planting the seeds, you are nurturing the garden, and inevitably, if you continue to nurture it, it is going to grow. It is going to blossom in the form of paying clients. So there is trust that is required here, going from your first $1 to your first $10,000. You must trust that your results will pay off. Don't feel entitled that the first person that you talk to, or the first conversation you have with someone, or the first thing that you might post online, that all of a sudden you are entitled to clients every single time you do something. There will be many times where you don't get that result, and that doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you or the industry. This is the natural process of growing a business. You've got to start. It's like, imagine if you threw some seeds out into the soil and then you came back 5 minutes later and you were frustrated that there wasn't a full garden waiting for you. That's the same exact thing that happens when you start taking your first few actions and expect that all of a sudden you should have all the clients in the world. Trust that your consistency is going to pay off. Every conversation you have matters. Okay, everything you put out into the world, every form of value, it matters. So you don't focus on growing your garden. The second thing you'll focus on is gathering rejections. You actually want to accumulate as many no's as you possibly can. You almost want to have this intention of going for the no. And the reason why this works so well is, firstly, it eliminates this attachment you might have to getting a yes from every offer you make or person you talk to. When you get no's, first of all, it's inevitable to get no's. You have to get through the no's in order to get to the yeses. The yeses are found in the no's. But the other reason why it's so useful to gather that rejection and gather those no's, in addition to building your own confidence, is it's going to provide you with incredible feedback. There are lessons in every single no. So if you make an offer for someone to work with you or enroll in your program or hire you, and they are a no, then it's really powerful to get curious about what's behind their no. Not because you want to change their mind, convince them, or manipulate them to work with you, but it's for you to understand what are their lingering concerns or objections. What is it that is missing that they need to know they're getting, or they need to know they're receiving in order for them to be an immediate yes. So this is a great way for you to learn how to more powerfully communicate your offers and eventually be able to have stronger conversations with people by taking that feedback. You want to take as much feedback as possible. Be a sponge for the feedback. Release your attachment to the yeses. This is really going to set you up and create such an amazing foundation for you to build on. The next focus you want to have from 1 to 10, your first 10K, is you want to try several organic marketing strategies. So this means that you're not paying for advertising. Do not run and set up Facebook or Google ads. I hear some coaches that they do this, and it is a big no-no. You are not at the point where this makes sense or this is smart for you to do. There could be a point later on, but I will tell you that the majority of my first million that I made as a coach was from organic marketing. It did not come from paid advertising. So organic marketing means that the way you're marketing yourself comes from you either having conversations with people or creating value. Okay. And I'm in the process of making an episode where I want to talk about the top 10 organic marketing strategies. These are also all the 10 strategies that we go into so much depth on in the academy, and we teach our students and give them step-by-step done for you processes for each one. I'll give you some examples. An organic marketing strategy could be going to networking events, or if that's not your thing, it could be producing content on a social media platform, or it could be creating workshops, or it can be doing speaking gigs. These are different examples of organic marketing strategies. Podcasting is an example of organic marketing, okay? So it's not about spreading yourself thin, but it's more like dipping your toes in the water and seeing which one or two strategies light you up. So you'll explore and you'll experiment with different ones, and you'll find that you will start to attract your first several clients from doing that, which is going to get you to your first 10K as a coach. In this phase, I also recommend that you stay with just offering one-on-one coaching. So do not try to force yourself to niche down if you really don't want to or you don't feel ready to. Eventually, there is a time for that, which we'll talk about. But if you are not really sure, then just keep yourself offering coaching to whoever is interested in it. And I also recommend to not yet starting any group coaching yet. Keep your coaching with one-on-one. One-on-one coaching is amazing. It's such an incredible experience to work one-on-one with someone. Again, it doesn't mean that you're going to always work one-on-one, but at this phase, I find this works really well. Pricing-wise, when you're earning your first 10K as a coach, you'll probably be charging somewhere between $500 to $1K per client. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind when you are charging for your coaching is to not be charging by the session. You want to be charging a package or a bundle of coaching sessions. So for example, instead of you charging $50 for a coaching session and you're just selling it one session at a time, why not charge $500 for a bundle of 10 sessions or a bundle of 12 sessions, whatever it might be, okay? So you're selling a bundle or a package of coaching sessions, not a one-off. During this phase, in your first 10K, you also want to be cultivating your own client success stories. So as your first few clients start to have great results, make sure you are setting up a process where you are capturing those testimonials and those success stories. It's very simple as inviting your clients to simply provide a video or provide an email to you where they could express exactly what value they've received and the results that they've achieved from the coaching. And we give our students in the academy, we have a step-by-step process that we have them go through. It goes way beyond what I want to cover in this podcast, but we have an exact process exactly for how you can collect amazing client success stories. This is going to be very important for you to start leveraging your business into the next phase. And this is the third phase where you're going to go from your first 10K to your first 100K. So here we go. You want to continue to focus on growing that garden. Okay, at this point, you're probably starting to see some plants are blooming, some things are happening. So you're seeing that, but you want to continue to remain consistent. This is also the phase where you will start to delegate, okay? I have a podcast episode on how to delegate as an entrepreneur where I go into greater depth on that, but this is where you'll start to hand off some administrative tasks or behind the scenes things that an executive or a virtual assistant would be better off doing. Now, delegate doesn't mean you have to be hiring a full-time team. Even if it's hiring someone 5 hours a week, 10 hours a week, that will free up energy for you to continue focusing on the actions that are actually yielding you the most clients, so that way your team member can delegate and do the rest. In this phase, you also want to start to niche down. So you've already made your first 10,000 as a coach. You've probably been working with various clients on various challenges. You probably have a sense for what kind of person you prefer to work with or what kind of challenge you prefer to work on, whether it be health related or career related or entrepreneurial or maybe relationship. So you want to start thinking about, okay, if I were to niche down and focus on one particular client who has one particular problem, what might that be? Now, I have a whole episode on the podcast as well around choosing your coaching niche. But a lot of coaches start asking themselves this question at the very beginning of their step into entrepreneurship. They haven't even made their first dollar yet. They're still at 0 to 1. So notice again how it's so important to just stick with the phase that you're in until you are ready to address the challenges of a later phase. So only until this phase where you're at the 10K mark, you're going to your first 100K, this is when it's going to be appropriate for you to start niching down. This is also the phase where you want to start refining your marketing strategy. So if you remember in the previous phase, you were trying out various organic marketing strategies. At this point, you probably have a couple that you feel more drawn to, that you actually find fun and you enjoy doing. And yes, I said that. Imagine that marketing can be fun for you. It is true. And you will find that even if it's just one or two marketing strategies, you want to double down on those. And that's going to allow you to now generate more leads and more potential clients for your business. So rather than trying out many different strategies, you're now starting to focus on the one or two that are getting you the best results. So maybe you find you really love doing workshops. Great. Now we're going to just focus on workshops. You'll do like a workshop every couple of weeks. And then now you're starting to get into more of a rhythm. In terms of pricing, by now you're hopefully charging between 1K to 5K per client. So you've had the confidence where you've given yourself a raise, and now you're able to be charging 4 figures for your coaching, which is amazing. And this is also the phase where you want to start getting your ducks in a row. So what I mean by that is you'll be setting up a business account. You probably start to work with or talk with an accountant and a bookkeeper. You want to start having a way of cleaning things up so that way, as the money is flowing into your business and as you're making investments in your business and having expenses in your business, it's being tracked properly. So I like to think of this as the getting the ducks in a row phase as well. Again, a lot of people, they worry so much about this before they've even started making money at all as a coach. And the reality is when you get started, you're allowed to make money. You don't have to have a registered business in the United States. You are automatically a sole proprietor. So you are allowed to enroll clients. You're just doing it as a sole proprietor. But as your business is now making its way from 10K to 100K, this is where you can start. This is the most appropriate time for you to start getting those ducks in a row. And the last thing you want to do in this phase as well is to create a referral process if you don't have one already. So you have already begun working with numerous clients. Make sure you have a way for you to invite previous clients to invite others to work with you. This will open up another stream of clients for you in revenue because you've now accumulated a lot of client success. So you want to make sure that you have a specific process in place for your current clients or your previous clients to send new clients over to you. Okay, so thus far, what we've covered are the first 3 phases of entrepreneurship. We've gone from 0 to 1, from 1 to 10K, from 10K to 100K. So the 4th phase is from 100K to 500K, your first $500,000 as a coach. So this is where you get out of the infancy phase of your business and you go into a more mature adolescent phase in your business. So it's still, there's actually, I don't even know if I want to call it mature because there's still growing pains that you're experiencing. There's still a lot that you're learning, but the difference is that your income at this point, it's not going to be as volatile as the first few phases. So in your first 100K, it's very normal for you to have some months that are significantly more income generating than other months. That is completely normal. As long as you have the trust in yourself and in what you're creating and growing, you will not get sidetracked by that. You'll just know that that's a normal process. I've had times when I was getting started where I'd had some months where I was making 5K and then other months where I was making 50K. So it's quite a difference when you can go from making that 5K to 50K just month by month. At this point though in your business, your income will continue to grow, but it won't be as volatile. So it start to calm down a bit as it's continuing to grow. This is the phase where you really want to focus on creating and maximizing a high ticket program. So a high ticket coaching program it's high ticket, it's high value. It's a coaching program and offer that you sell at the 5K, 10K, or 15K level. I'm speaking majority of high ticket coaches. This is where they're at. So in order to create a high ticket program, you want to provide more than just your time. This is where you'll be thinking about other forms of value that you can offer your clients in addition to your time. Perhaps it's videos or manuals or resources, some forms of value they can get to help them get results, and again, allow them to receive value in other ways besides your time. This is the phase of your business where you will develop more thought leadership. So by now, you've worked with so many clients and you've been able to see patterns and trends and themes. So you want to take what you've learned and what you've observed from working with clients and seeing them get results, and you want to start using that to produce concepts and ideas and resources that will help future clients get faster results. And this is what's going to beef up a program and make it super valuable and juicy and high ticket, so people will want to invest in it. Eventually, your high ticket program will be generating the majority of your income for your business. So you're going to really want to focus on getting good at selling at the high ticket level in this phase. The other thing you'll want to do is continue to delegate, and you'll find that you'll probably be now growing more of a team. Maybe you have a couple of people or a handful of people. Again, it doesn't have to be full time, but you might have people that are, or teammates that are taking on various tasks for your business. So you're still thinking, how can I release or let go of the tasks that others could take on? And you are producing processes for your team to take on, and trusting that they will be able to fulfill that. You'll be putting some energy on managing your team, making sure that they have the support they need, they have the instruction and the guidance they need. So you'll notice that you'll be putting more energy at this phase on providing the proper support for your team to be successful. This is also the phase where you will consider scaling your business by going from offering one-on-one coaching to group coaching. Okay, so if you're only offering one-on-one, you might now realize that since you have a niche, you have a particular group, how can you offer them support in a group format? That way, instead of being limited to working with 20 one-on-one clients a week, you can now put those 20 clients in a group container where maybe they're getting one coaching session with you a week. And that's a whole mindset shift in itself to go from one-on-one to group coaching. I'm definitely going to have an episode on that at some point. And in the academy as well, we do provide training on how to do one-on-one and group coaching as well. So you know how to confidently navigate both situations. So that's how you take your business from the first 100K to 500K. And then finally, how do you take it from 500K to your first million? So by now, you have a very steady process of how you're getting leads coming in. It's no longer a problem for you. You're generating leads. You've got things going behind the scenes. What you want to do now is you want to firstly increase what's called your ACV, your average customer value. Now, I want to pause right here because some of you're listening and you're just at that first phase, your first dollar, your first 10K. I don't want you to get overwhelmed at some of the things I'm talking about. Remember, just focus on where you're at. So your ACV is your average customer value. This is on average how much each client is paying to work with you. So you want to be calculating that, because if your average customer value is 5K right now or 10K, you want to think, how can I provide that client with more value or more support, more resources, more offers to now elevate them to being a $20,000 client? Okay, so think about that in terms of the math, right? If you want to be earning $1 million as a coach, and each client is devoting you $10,000, right? Then you need 100 clients in 1 year to be earning the $1 million in the year. However, if you raise the average customer value from 10K to 20K, you just need 50 clients in an entire year to then be making $1 million in a year. So you want to think, how can I take my current clients? How can I offer them more and raise the average customer value? Another thing you'll want to do in this phase is raise your conversion rates. So you already have people coming at the door. Let's say that for every 10 people that you have a consultation with, 3 of them decide to become a paying client, which is not bad to have a 30% conversion rate, especially if you're at the high ticket level and you're charging 10K per client. Okay, so that's 3 clients every 10. That's $30,000 for every for every 10 clients that you have a consultation with. But what if you were able to raise your conversion rate to 60%? So instead of every 3 clients out of every 10 deciding to work with you, you were going to 6 clients out of every 10. This means that you could still be having the same amount of leads coming to your business, but now double them are going to actually work with you. So this will exponentially grow your business. So you want to focus on how can you get better at selling, get a deeper understanding into understanding what people's desires are, their challenges are, and helping them navigate the decision. This does not mean that you become more pushy or are like awkward and weird in your sales conversations. It really is about having a stronger way to connect with people and also dissolve any kind of fears or challenges or concerns they might have ahead of time, like before they get on a call with you. So what kind of information, resources, value can you provide them ahead of time so that way by the time they have that consultation with you or a team member, they're already sold. They're already like, sign me up. So that's how you raise your conversion rates. Now, the other interesting thing about going from 500K to 1 million is you actually want to do less. What I mean by that is you want to cut out and simplify. Okay, you can only add on so much. And one of the misconceptions that people have is that more money is more responsibility and more work. A lot of people have the idea like hard work, you need to be working hard to be successful. So if I want more success, I need to work harder. I've actually found this to be the opposite. I found that I've worked the hardest in my business from 0 to 1 and then the first $1 to 10K. But as I've evolved as an entrepreneur, I've actually found it's been really about working smarter and releasing the things that are not working, cutting out all the extra tasks and simplifying. So this is the phase where you declutter your business, you simplify, you cut out the steps that are not needed. Maybe you have a few different offers that are going on right now, and it might be making some of the hard decisions about, I need to let go of this one offer so that way I can devote my full attention to this bigger and better offer that's ultimately generating the most income. Okay, so you might find that by letting go of the thing that's not really growing your business, you can now devote your full attention and energy to the thing that is. So these are tough decisions, but at this phase, you'll be ready for it. And of course, you'll continue to grow your team at this point. You'll probably be having a good number of people on your team at this point, and you don't have to have hundreds of people. But again, you might have a handful of people that run the business with you. And think about that, like making $1 million as a coach, it would just require a handful of people. And how cool is that, right? You don't need to have this massive corporation, this idea that you might have in your brain. So after your first million that you make, I think your business reaches a really beautiful level of maturity. It goes from that infancy phase where everything's so new and kind of overwhelming and you're not sure where it's all going to lead. And then you get into that adolescent phase where you're growing, you're still learning, but things are starting to come together. And then when you hit that first million, it's like you reach a level of maturity where you're able to handle problems as they come. You're able to have such an emotional maturity where you don't get so bogged down in any kind of complexity that might arise, but you approach your business with so much calmness and presence and creativity and fun. And you, rather than avoiding ways to get support, like you're actively seeking out ways to get support, you continue to invest or, put money back into the business. And that's something I kind of wish I talked about even more. Just as you're growing in each of these phases, you are putting money back into the business because you believe in its growth. And every time you do that, like you're finding ways to generate that ROI in every investment that you make. So at this phase, like you get it and you're able to gladly invest in your business. I think it becomes like not so much about the money for you, but just about you enjoy the process and the fun of growing a business. And it's like kind of like a game that never ends, but you just enjoy playing it rather than thinking, how am I going to, cash out or be done with it? So by this level of maturity, it's such like a beautiful place to be in where you fall in love with the process more than you've already fallen in love with it before. And you continue to see the business grow and also like the impact that you're creating in so many clients' lives. Now, mentorship is key. I want to finish the episode by just giving you that reminder. Mentorship is key as you go through these phases. Do not go at this alone. I want you to know there are people already that have done what you're looking to do, and it just benefits you by having access to those mentors and those communities and those frameworks that are going to support you and make the journey faster and simpler and more fun. So this is why we give our students lifetime support. We give them lifetime access to the program. So right when they finish and get certified as a coach, the door is still open. They get to reattend all of our coach training modules if they want to brush up on their skills. They get access to ongoing business support and mentorship. Every single week, you can get questions answered. You can get tech support. You get everything you need, because we want you to see entrepreneurship as a lifelong journey, because this is really, for a lot of you, it's more than just running a business. It's honoring a calling. So honoring a calling is not just something you do one season or 1 year. It's something that you really devote yourself to and you honor, because it's what allows you to fulfill. You feel morally obligated to fulfill in your lifetime. So we'd love to be there for you. If you are interested, of course, in Thriving Coach Academy, head over to our website, read more about our curriculum. We updated our whole curriculum page recently, so you can see exactly what you're going to learn, what you're going to get. And we'd love to help you out if you feel called to join in our community. Otherwise, these are the 5 phases from going from 0 to 1 million. Now, I believe there is a $1 million business inside of you right now. Just take that on for a moment. There's a $1 million business inside of you. You don't have to see exactly how it's going to all come together. You just have to hold space for that belief. Remember, you can believe something before you have evidence of it. All right, that's what I got in this episode on from 0 to 1 million. Before you go, I'm going to include a clip from one of our students in the academy so you can hear their story, learn from their success, and I will see you in the next episode. Hey, would you like access to powerful coaching tools you can use on yourself and clients right away? For being a listener of the podcast, I'm giving you a VIP guest pass to get a sneak peek into my coach training program. Inside, you'll learn our coaches' secret tool they use to transform their clients' lives. And you'll also get a training on how to launch a coaching business. Just head over to www.thrivingcoachacademy.com/VIP to get started. I'll see you on the inside.